Do you trust yourself? Because if you're doing all of the work, if you're calling in abundance, if you're meditating, you're visualizing yourself with the abundance that you want, you're doing all of the work, but deep down, you don't trust yourself, then that is going to be the block to your abundance. I didn't even know I wasn't trusting myself. And honestly, I wasn't even trying to fix abundance problems or money blocks. I simply dove into spiritual awakening journey because of my relationships, because I was being stuck in cycles of toxic relationships. Eventually, as I was removing the blocks that were holding me back, and one thing after another, I was resolving the issues that were causing me to be in constant cycles of toxic relationships. Eventually, I ran into money blocks as well. I didn't even know. It was a complete blind spot for me. But one of the things that showed up was that I was not trusting myself. And I didn't understand why. Through one of the deep meditations that I've done in the past and breathwork exercise, I saw the visions of myself as a child, where I was my father used to teach me to swim by throwing me in the water. That was a trauma for me, a big one. I also had a vision of like a older child, or my neighbor, who was basically bullying me, and I was only 5. This person was 8, and when you're 5, you're much smaller. You can't really defend yourself. You can't really do much. I also saw my grandma, who was disciplining me with a large stick, and I realized all of these were traumas for me, and that I was blaming myself for that happening. I was blaming myself for not protecting myself. Now, when you think about that, you know that as a child, there is 3, 4, 5, 6 years old, you cannot protect yourself. You're small, you don't really know anything. You're looking up to older siblings or older kids, or your mom and dad, your grandma, your grandfather, for guidance and for protection. So I have had this deep belief in deep down inside of me that I wasn't trusting myself because I didn't protect myself. Even though it wasn't my fault. It was not my fault. And for the most part in your life, it's not your fault. When you look back into your childhood, the people, your guardians, they are the ones to protect you. Your mom and dad, they are the ones to protect you. Your grandparents. If they don't protect you, then you're basically on your own. And then you're looking externally to find that. Or you're looking within yourself. I was apparently blaming myself for a very long time without even knowing this, that I wasn't protecting myself and that I let it happen. And that belief of mistrust in myself continued into adulthood, because the programs that you built in your childhood, from the time when you were 1 to 7, they continue on your entire life unless you look into it and you change these programs. So what was I doing in my adulthood? Same thing. I wasn't trusting myself. I continued to look externally for validation and approval from other people in my relationships. I continued to have low self-worth, to have very or no boundaries, and to continue to constantly try to prove to others that I was worthy of love and of everything else by constantly, continuously giving. So two things that are happening here, or were happening here, that were blocking my abundance. One, I wasn't trusting myself. Guess what is going to happen if you're sitting with yourself, or sitting in meditation, calling in abundance, doing the visualization, doing all of the things, and deep down you don't trust yourself? Then your subconscious mind is not going to pick up on any of the things that you're trying to do, because deep down you don't trust yourself. And then the second thing is, I was always doing, meaning I was working on my abundance by being in my masculine energy, continuously working very hard. My past video talks about this. Working very hard, super hard. Being the best at everything I do. Making sure that I'm the one that is irreplaceable at work. That I'm the best in school. That I do everything possible to have the abundance, to have money, to have a lot of money. But I wasn't sitting in my feminine energy. I was sitting, or I was doing, and I was completely entrenched into the masculine all of these years. So that's a second thing to note. It's when you're calling in abundance, you should be ready to receive. You should be ready to sit back and be very conscious about and very calm about it, that you're ready and accepting of the abundance that is in the universe, and ready to receive. And I wasn't doing that either. Okay? So see how in this life, through my spiritual awakening journey, I actually did not have money issues, because I was working so hard that I was able to make money. And eventually I burned out, because that wasn't my sole purpose. But through looking into my past, through looking into my childhood traumas, the old archaic belief systems that I needed to resolve and replace, I was able to finally pinpoint that I actually was blocking my abundance this whole time without even knowing it. So, there is no magic pill, okay? There is no, a lot of people are asking for the tool or a quick fix to how to do this. There is no tool or quick fix. You have to be willing to really, really work on yourself. Really face your childhood traumas. A lot of these are not even something that you think could be a trauma. Like, I wasn't thinking about those past events. I moved on with my life, or I thought I moved on with my life. They didn't even show up in my dreams, but they did show up in my meditations when I was looking into why do I not trust myself. Those visions showed up. So if you're willing to dive deep, and if you're willing to really face your childhood and see what belief systems have been created from the traumas that you have had in your childhood, in your past, then that's the first step to creating the abundance of everything in life. Abundance of love, abundance of money, abundance of everything you want. Okay? So if you're willing to do that, let's dive in. I will be posting more videos about this, and leave me in the comment section, what's your story? Have you had a breakthrough? Have you sat with yourself and have you resolved some of the traumas that have been holding you back? I want to know about you. So this is all I have for today. I'll see you soon.